Hello, I'm Tony Cole, the host of TalkIT Global. When we think of the core processors in a PC, we usually think of CPUs and GPUs. But lately, with the advent of AI PCs, the Neural Processing Unit, or NPU, has also been mentioned. In this episode of Seminam, Director Sungho from HP, a company specializing in AI PCs and AI workstation, will explain, in an easy-to-understand way, why NPUs are necessary.
Every PC we know of has a processor. There's the CPU and then there's the GPU. Each serves a different purpose. The CPU is essentially for computing, while the GPU is stronger in terms of high power usage and parallel processing. Now we're hearing about something called an NPU for the first time. The main difference between an NPU and CPUs or GPUs is that it uses low power. It continuously operates at a low power level, mostly for monitoring purposes. So when you buy an AI PC on the market today, you might not feel much difference from what you previously used. However, I think you will end up using this Zoom feature quite a bit. Before COVID, we didn't use things like Zoom or Teams, but now, in my opinion, Zoom and Teams are some of the fastest options available. Activating certain features in these platforms is assisted by the NPU, not by the CPU or GPU. Does that mean it won't work without an NPU? Not necessarily. However, when the NPU is operating, it doesn't reduce the performance of the CPU or GPU. You can think of the NPU as functioning independently. As the number of functions or high-performance AI features increases, the role of the NPU becomes more important.
So, you see, even Zoom is starting to incorporate intelligent features. And it's not just Zoom. Various apps on PCs are becoming intelligent as well, right? That's when the NPU really comes into play. And when it does, the CPU is completely offloaded, right?
From the user's perspective, this means that they can fully utilize the performance of the CPU and GPU.
That's why the NPU continues to operate at low power.
And currently, some of you here might think that you don't have much use for AI, but let's think about it differently. This term ISV can be understood as independent software vendors. There could be Adobe or others like Katia or Clio. There are many companies out there. These companies are now incorporating AI features into their products.
Into their own apps.
Yes, into their own apps. For example, in the past, something like Adobe Photoshop was handled by experts. But now, AI can do it at an expert level.
So, as traditional PC and laptop apps, like Zoom, increasingly integrate AI features, they require an NPU to function effectively.
That's correct. It's not that these apps won't work without an NPU, but without one, they would consume CPU and GPU resources. In this role, the NPU is becoming increasingly necessary for good PC performance.
When selecting a traditional CPU or GPU, we used to compare based on performance metrics. But what kind of performance standards does an NPU have?
When meeting with enterprise customers or individual clients, they often ask about storage and memory. But for CPUs, they ask about the clock speed or how many cores it has. For AI PCs, we use a unit called TOPS. How many TOPS does it have? This means what is the AI-related performance level of the NPU?
TOPS stands for trillion operations per second.
That's right. We're talking about operations in the trillions. So you can think of one TOPS as performing 1 trillion AI operations per second. The higher the TOPS, the more capable it is of performing AI-related functions. Intel and AMD have now released processors with built-in NPUs. But as of now, Qualcomm also has one, and it has the highest NPU performance. However, being ARM-based, it might have some limitations.
What kind of limitations are there?
The constraints might vary by company, but since it's an ARM core, there could be compatibility issues with Intel and AMD as well.
For various applications that were traditionally used on Windows PCs
or in-house programs, there might be compatibility issues with ARM cores. But now it's August, and new CPUs are coming out in September and October. Intel and AMD will release processors with 40 to 50 TOPS. Currently, they are around 11 TOPS and 16 TOPS. Microsoft has said that a true AI PC should have around 50 TOPS, and those processors will soon be available. By then, I think everyone here will truly be able to feel how smoothly AI-related features run.
Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.